is Friday night, Hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece. This is Friday night, Hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece. Exploring limitless opportunities, illuminate our path, amplify our impact. Oh, it's Friday night Hangout. It's Friday night Hangout. It's safe space for ideation. This is Friday night, Hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece. This is Friday night, Hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece. Exploring limitless opportunities, illuminate our path, amplify our impact. Oh, it's Friday night Hangout. It's Friday night.
Ever feel like you're running on autopilot?
Are you feeling stuck in your business, professional, or personal life? Or are you struggling to find purpose and direction? Imagine having a clear sense of direction, achieving your goals, and living a fulfilling life. Joy Onyesoh Coaching Consult is here to help you. We will work with you to identify your strengths, overcome obstacles, and develop a personalized plan to achieve your dreams. With our coaching and consulting services, you will gain clarity, confidence, and the tools you need to succeed. Do not let fear, lack of clarity, or doubt hold you back any longer. Take the first step towards achieving your goals and living your best life. Contact Joy Onyesoh Coaching Consult today. Joy Onyesoh Coaching Consult, empowering you to reach your full potential. Call, SMS, or WhatsApp +234 704 229 1171. Or you can visit our website www.joyonyesohcoachingconsult.com.
This is Friday night, hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece. This is Friday night, hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece. Exploring limitless opportunities, illuminate our path, amplify our impact. Oh, it's Friday night hangout. It's Friday night hangout. It's safe space for ideation.
Hey, good evening and welcome to another interesting episode of Friday Night Hangout. This is season 22, episode 243. Yes. Last week we had conversations on clarity in decision making, cutting through the noise. And tonight is another interesting conversation. But before we go into the topic for tonight, as always, I would ask you to use the chat box. Let me know where you're joining it from. Remember to push the hashtag FNH or Friday Night Hangout with Joy Onyesoh. And don't forget to subscribe and like our, YouTube channel and our Facebook channel as well. So we want to see you like, subscribe, so you could know when we are live. Okay, so how has your day been like? Mine has been very hectic but productive. How has yours been like? How has the week been like as well? Please use the comment section. This is the tribe. And if this is your first time joining us, not to worry, you're welcome. This is Friday Night Hangout. I'm your host, Joy Onyesoh. It's always a pleasure to welcome you to Friday Night Hangout every Friday, 7 p.m. West African time. So doesn't matter where you're joining in from, we want to welcome you. We want to welcome you. We want to welcome you. So tonight, we're going to be talking about clarity in mindset, finding calm in chaos. The topic is very apt, really very apt for a time like this. And just before we even came on live, if you joined right at the beginning, you will notice there was sort of a glitch. A whole lot was happening backstage. You know how technology happens. Things will be going so smoothly, and then something unexpected will happen, and you start struggling. That's a sad reality in this part of the world. Now, I want you to think about a time when you felt overwhelmed, when you felt there was just too many things happening at the same time, and you felt so overwhelmed, you did not know what to do, and you had to make a decision. You were afraid to make the wrong decision. This and more is what we're going to be talking about tonight. I recall during the Christmas period last year, my son had gone to pick up his younger sister from school. And in the Western world, that's the winter period. And the weather in Canada, some parts of Canada, especially the northern Canada, is very, very cold. Sometimes they have very bad snow at that time of the year. Of course, unexpected things happen because life will not just give you what you prepared for. And my son did not get back. He wasn't able to get into his sister's school when we scheduled. He had to spend the night in Toronto because they tried getting into the city. The weather was so bad. They had to go back, and he spent the night in Toronto. So that was already a major issue because he was supposed to pick up his sister the next day, and they head back to the US for their onward journey to Nigeria. So in my head, I was already thinking, so how would this happen? They had the flight the next day. Once he told me his flight was rescheduled for, I think it was like 8 a.m., I was like, no, you're not going to make that flight in good time if you have to come in and then go to her school. We had to reschedule, made sure she had to start coming out by herself to the airport to wait for him. So the long and short of the story is a whole lot of things happened that we did not plan for, and I had to be making on the spot decisions. When we had gotten through that, they got into the US, coming back to Nigeria, they missed their flight, a lot of other things that are happening. It was just a lot. And one thing, struck me in that period, and that's the need to stay calm. a lot of triggers will happen. And if you're not careful, you will start making emotional decisions instead of making pragmatic decisions, right? Because when they missed their flight and I was told the cost of changing the flight ticket, it was just something that I was like, no, I can't do this. This doesn't make sense. And then my daughter started crying, oh, she wants to come home. That's an emotional trigger, right? Now, because she's emotional, she's crying, and I'm feeling that. And if I'm not mindful, I will just take decisions based on that emotion without thinking it through, right? And that's not what you want to do when you're faced with situations. So the conversation tonight really would be how to have a balanced perspective when things around you are going in all kinds of directions, so that you can keep a calm head on your shoulders and make the decisions that you need to make. When you look back, you'll be glad you did. Now, why chaos? Why chaos? Why is it that chaos clouds the mind? And there are a whole lot of things. When something happens, a lot of information, your mind is so active. Your mind is one of the most powerful transformative tool that you have as an individual. It has enormous capacity. Now, so when things happen, the first thing is your mind is trying to process what has happened. So it's picking in a lot of information at the same time. So your thoughts could be the chaos. Then if you're in an environment where you have a lot of people around you and things are happening, sometimes health situation, sometimes loss of job, sometimes you have to take a decision as a team lead, you hit a challenge like we hit today. And I will just come in my mind, I was telling myself, I said, you know what, if the network doesn't come on, if we keep having this problem 10 minutes into the show, what we'll do is to reschedule for next week. Simple. And then when you take such decisions, you feel at peace, you're not pressured. When things work, they work. So having that serenity and courage to accept the things you cannot change and know that is beyond you, right? Now, when you have information overload, you want to pause. When you have a lot of emotional triggers, emotional pressures, and then when fear-based thinking takes place, your mind will tell you, what if? What if? And when you have a lot of what ifs happening, you have what we call the fear paralysis. You won't be able to take an action because your mind then will say, I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to take the wrong action right now. So it's normal for all of these things to happen. But the key thing is for you to recognize that it will happen, especially when it's a life-changing decision that you need to make. If you need to change jobs, if you need to move location, if you need to even get married, so many decisions that are life-changing, those kind of decisions would usually have a lot of triggers, a lot of chaos, and then that is when you need to maintain your calmness. Now, what are some of the strategies that you could use? Very simple strategy. We think it doesn't work, but it does. One of the first things you could do is to breathe in and out. It helps to calm your nerves because your nerves on edge. You're thinking about a whole lot of things, 1,001 things in a second. And it's worse when you're pressured to make a decision at the spur of the moment, right? So what you need to do is to practice the breathing exercise. Just breathe in deeply and out. It helps to calm everything about you. And you just slow down, right? You just need to slow down. And then the next thing you would need to do is to reframe all the thoughts coming into your mind through what I call an intentional framework. So one of the things I do is ask myself, so what's the worst case scenario here? Because fear takes hold of you when you're not able to say, what's the worst case? What is the worst thing that can happen? So when you look at what's the worst case scenario, then you've taken hold of your mind, you're able to start walking backwards. So what it does is you can now start identifying some of your distorted thinking patterns. When you're looking at what is the worst thing, so a whole lot of things will start playing out. And then you now start moving. You start shifting your mind from panic mode to looking at the reality on ground. What are my options? What are my options? When you start thinking in that direction, it starts calming your nerves down. You're not in panic mode again. Your mind is calm and you're just looking at, you've done the what is the worst case scenario, and you're looking at it, it's staring you in the face, and you deal with that and you start saying, okay, what options do I have at this point in time? What options do I have? Which one is within my direct influence? Because you could have a whole lot of options and it's dependent on third parties, and you don't really have a control over that. So you want to look at what is within your sphere of influence at that point in time, right? And the next thing you want to ask yourself is, what truly matters in this scenario? What really matters? What matters? Because at times we are bothered thinking about what people will say, what people would think, and those are not priorities. When you're so focused on what people will say, what people will think, you're leaving what really matters. You're leaving the priorities and you're thinking about very, very surface things that will not change anything. So you want to shift your mind away from what will people say, what will people think, to what really matters. You know how when something happens, we say, hey, you have disgraced me, or what will people say? And is that what will people say? That we start directing and pushing the actions or decisions you want to take. So you want to avoid that. You want to ground yourself in the reality. You want to ground yourself in what truly matters here. What is my priority? And sometimes as well, you want to make all the decisions at once, but you don't need to. You just need to take one step at a time. So when you get into what truly matters, you're asking yourself, what decision do I need to make now at this point in time? What will go wrong if I cannot take that decision? And then you're able to look at the priorities. This one I need to deal with now. This one I can move over to the next hour, to the next day, to the next 72 hours. Once you're able to differentiate this, it further calms you. And so you will not be in that panic, chaotic mindset. So all of these things helps you to just, breathe and take it one step at a time. And let me tell us something. When you focus on what matters most, your thoughts will start aligning with what you need to achieve, the results you need to achieve. Your thoughts will start aligning with the possibilities right before you, and not what people will say, what people will think, but what really is before you right now that you need to do it in the now. The next thing it does is it helps you to reduce the noise, the distractions. You would now start differentiating the information overload that you do not need. And I've learned how to do that. Sometimes things are happening. People are giving you all kinds of, I'll tell you, please, this is not what I need now. This is what I need to know. Hold the other information. Tell me this one. And then you also need to identify the people around you. There are some people who panic at every little thing. Every little thing, they magnify it, they panic it. So one of the first things you want to do is learn how to calm that situation down so that they don't project the anxiety on you. If you've not learned how to control yourself, so when people come with panic mode, you know how to hush it and how to go for what really matters and focus on what really matters, because that is noise, that is distraction. If you listen to our conversation last week, when we talked about decision making with clarity, right? We're talking about cutting through the noise. We gave a strategy. And if you're able to implement that, it also helps in this scenario as well, because this is also a decision making scenario. So once you know that your life gives you opportunities to make decisions every day, so you just know as long as you're breathing, as long as you're alive, you would need to make decisions. So the next thing you want to do is to have clarity. Clarity is about having a deep understanding what it is. Because when you do not have an understanding of what is before you, what decisions you want to make, what your priorities are, what truly matters, what you need to be focusing on, what happens is you now become overwhelmed, and then you just start panicking and thinking you want to take decisions in an urgency mode, and you don't want to get into that kind of mode. Because in that mode, you will make decisions that, you may regret. So I always tell people, don't make decisions that are life-changing. Don't make those kind of decisions in the heat of the moment. Have the time to just calm down, think it through, and focus on what really matters. So I want to ask you this question. What usually steals your mental clarity? Is it fear? Is it pressure? Is it comparison? Or is it overthinking? Some of us are overthinkers. Oh God, we overthink things, right? Some of us are always in the comparison mode. We're always comparing. We're always comparing. And some of us live in fear. We live in perpetual fear. And I'm telling you today that 90% or even 95% of what you fear would never really happen. I recollect when I was very young, I'm a daddy's girl. And so I have this very close attachment with my dad. And when I became a teenager, one of my greatest fear was losing my dad. So I would be so scared of losing him. If he travels and for some reason he's not back, those days it was just landline, there was no cell phone, right? I would start panicking. I'm like, and so one day I expressed my fear to him. I had one dream. He didn't come back when he was supposed to come back. And I had one dream where he died and, I woke up with fever. And luckily he came back, that very day, later in the day. A day later than he was supposed to, and I was sharing the dream with him. I was panicking, I was grateful. And he said to me, listen, what you fear will not happen. I will live to a very old age. And did he live to a very old age? Yes, he did. My dad lived to the age of 90. He died 5 days after his 90th birthday. But just, can you imagine how many years ago? More than 35, 36 years ago, I was already panicking. And I was afraid. So I'm telling us that, over 90-95% of what we fear would not happen. So you need to walk through that. You need to think through and know that you just have to think through things, prioritize. And I want you to reflect on that now. So for you, what usually clouds your mind? What usually triggers you and you go into that panic mode, comparison mode, overthinking mode, and you become pressured? Can you use the comment section to put it down there? We're all learning. Recall I said this is a learning platform. We all come here to learn. And so when you share your thoughts and I share my thoughts, we enrich the process and we can all learn, as we move along. So if there's something in the comment section, let me see who is here right away. Who can I see right now? I see DJ Floxy. Welcome. Thank God it's Friday Night Hangout. But share your comments while I'm waiting for the comments to come in. I'm going to read some of the comments you put in there so we can all reflect over it. But I want to encourage us, that for you to maintain calmness when chaos happens, one, you need to understand who you are. There is need to have an understanding of who you are. When you know you're someone that panics a lot, you're someone that goes into flight mode, For some of us, we go into fight mode, we become aggressive when things start happening. And when you go to either of the extremities, you're not able to make pragmatic decisions. You're not able to make decisions that are sustainable, right? You're making highly emotional decisions that, in time you may come to regret. So recall what we've said. When things start happening, what you want to do is to first calm yourself. Whatever calms you down, if it's deep breathing, if it's getting a cold drink, if it's just exhaling, find what calms you down. You just want to be able to calm down. Because when you calm down, you can make clearer decisions. When you calm down, your calmness will give you the confidence to make that decision. You're able to see things in a broader perspective. You're able to understand your priorities. You're able to identify what matters in the now. And then when you do this, you have the confidence to make decisions. The other thing I want to let you know is no matter how well you think through a process, no matter how well prepared you are, no matter how knowing you are, there will be times when you will make mistakes. So if you're one that is running away from making decisions and you're overthinking things because you don't want to make decisions, you are comparing some other persons or processes with yourself because you're afraid of mistakes, or you're even flogging yourself. Some of us know how to overflog ourselves. Oh, we make one mistake, we keep on going at it. Oh, Joy, you didn't do this. I'm telling you, everyone makes mistakes. So if you are at peace with the fact that everyone makes mistakes, But the difference is, what do I do with the mistakes I've made? What lessons do I learn? And how can I leverage those lessons to improve my process, or to improve my actions, or to improve the results I get next time? That's what makes the difference. So if you're one that you make mistakes, you don't learn from the mistakes, you don't reflect about the mistakes, you will keep repeating the mistakes. And that's a pattern I see oftentimes. Like, you go through things, you don't bother to reflect and ask yourself, what are the learning points in this process? What are some of the things I can take out of this, and how can I apply it to my future self, so I don't need to make this kind of mistakes again? But sadly, we see people making the same mistake over and over and over, because they are not reflective and they do not bother to learn the lessons. So if you're that kind of person that spend time in reviewing what happens and picking out your lessons, you'll be confident to take decisions, knowing that even if you make a mistake, you would pick out the mistakes and you will walk through it. So life, there's no certainty with life, but your ability to turn lemon into lemonade. So no matter what life throws at you, your ability to stand, remain anchored, right, and take the best decision possible. Now, let me tell us, because we evolve every day, the kind of decisions you make today, in you being who you are today, may not be the decision you would have made yesterday, may not be the decision you're going to make tomorrow, because you're evolving, you're interacting with people, you're gaining experiences, and all of this should count into what you bring into a process. So you're not feeling overwhelmed, you're not feeling pressured. You can calm yourself to say, I've seen this before. Joy, calm down. Take it easy. Focus on what really matters now. So don't go anywhere. I want you to use the comment section to tell me, what are some of your learning points from the conversation we've had today? What are some of the areas that you struggle with? And if by chance you have any question, use the comment section to put it. When we come back from this break, then we would go through the comments, we'll take the questions, and then we'll wrap up the conversation in such a way that you can start taking actions right away. So don't go anywhere, stay right here while we take this break. Ever feel like you're running on autopilot, but deep down, you know there's more to your story? That's where Clarity Lounge comes in. We're creating a space for women to pause, reflect, and gain clarity on their goals and purpose. I am Joy Onyesoh, your clarity and focus coach, and I look forward to welcoming you to the Clarity Lounge Masterclass. In this masterclass, you'll get expert coaching to help you overcome self-doubt and achieve a boost in your confidence. You also get our proprietary clarity framework to guide your decision making, goal setting, and result focused actions. Connections with like-minded women who support and uplift you. You will also learn risk and trade-off analysis and intentional goal setting architecture, and much more. Join us on March 21st, 2026 for in-person 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. limited slots. Imagine having a clear vision for your next 6 months, a support system that drives your success, the tools to overcome obstacles and stay focused, and a personalized plan using our clarity framework. You want to take the first step towards clarity? Get registered, and I'll see you at the Clarity Lounge. Okay, so welcome back. That's the Clarity Lounge Masterclass that will be holding on March 21st, and distance is not a barrier. We're going to be having that online and in person. So, the link is in the comment section. You can click on it to register. Registration is still going on. And trust me, this conversation we're having tonight, we're going to have it in a deeper level in the masterclass. We're even going to be sharing with you frameworks that you could use in making effective decisions, so that when you go through situations, you can quickly use a framework, so you're making a structured decision and not emotional decision. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to please follow JOCC platforms, right? And then please share this replay. Next week, invite someone, and please subscribe to our Power Woman TV. Thank you so much, Mr. Shalodeja. He says, don't take life-defining decisions when under pressure. That's it. And this has always been one of my principles, not to make life-defining decisions when under pressure, because the pressure will pass. Then you make life-defining decisions based on how you feel. And oftentimes, when you make those decisions based on how you feel, you're not really looking at the big picture. So when that pressure passes, you start regretting. Now, I'm not only talking about things that go wrong. Don't even make life-defining decisions when you're excited or when you're happy. Don't go promising. You know how some people will promise people, oh, I'm so good, your result is fantastic, I'll give you 100K. And then when you fail of all that thing dies down, you start asking yourself, what happened to me? And you know, it happens sometimes in churches, in fellowship. You see someone saying, I'm donating this amount, and you too stand up and you donate without even thinking about the bills you have to pay or what you have to do, right? So this is something you can apply throughout different facets of your life. Even when you're in church, when you're in fellowship, when you're at work, when you're running your business, when you're interacting in your home front, you don't make life-defining decisions under pressure. Think it through. What matters most at this point in time? What do I understand about this? And then make those decisions. So I want you to take some time out and reflect and write it down. You know, I would always say, come in with your notes-taking materials, right? What areas are you facing some kind of pressure right now that you need to make decisions? And I want you to really, because when you get very specific, it helps you. On the Friday night hangout, we want to give you actionable strategies that you can start implementing right away. Okay? So you think through it and you start from the conversations we've had tonight. What are some of the strategies you can deploy right away that will keep you grounded and enable you to focus on what really matters and prioritize your decision making? And if you missed last week's episode, please, I would encourage you, go back and watch the replay. It will really help you to ground the conversations we're having today. And today, by the way, is the last Friday in February. And so I want to appreciate you all for staying with us through this love month. We have been talking about clarity throughout February. So we've dealt on different aspects of clarity this month. If you've missed any of the episode this month, please do go and watch the replays, because this episode is going to help you in how you run for 2026. This episode, the last one, all the conversations we've had in this month would help you in your journey of becoming the best version of yourself. So you could go to Friday Night Hangout on YouTube or the Power Woman TV and you get a replay to watch. Thank you so much. The link to the Clarity Lounge Masterclass is on the comment section. I look forward to seeing you next week, Friday. Thank you so much. Stay blessed. Next month is the Women's Month. March is Women's Month. So expect exciting, interesting conversation throughout March. We're going to be celebrating our women. So even our men, come right in to join us in celebrating the woman in your life, your daughter, your sister, your mother, your aunt. So March, we're going to celebrate women, and we're going to be talking about women-related issues. So stay tuned with us, and I look forward to seeing you the first Friday in March for some exciting conversation. From myself and the team and the Friday Night Hangout Studios, bye for now. Stay blessed. Don't forget to practice your reflections and write down some of the strategies you want to implement. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your Sunday. Remember to smell the roses and keep being you. Remember, life is not about how far you have traveled or how quickly you travel through life, but the experiences, the companionship you gather on the road, that's what, defines and shapes your experiences, okay? God bless you. God keep you till we see you next week, Friday. Bye for now, and I look forward to seeing you next week, Friday. Ever feel like you're running on autopilot, but deep down, you know there's more to your story? That's where Clarity Lounge comes in. We're creating a space for women to pause, reflect, and gain clarity on their goals and purpose. I am Joy Onyesoh, your clarity and focus coach, and I look forward to welcoming you to the Clarity Lounge Masterclass. In this masterclass, you'll get expert coaching to help you overcome self-doubt and achieve a boost in your confidence. You also get our proprietary clarity framework to guide your decision making, goal setting, and result-focused actions. Connections with like-minded women who support and uplift you. You will also learn risk and trade-off analysis and intentional goal-setting architecture and much more. Join us on March 21st, 2026 for in-person 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. limited slots. Imagine having a clear vision for your next 6 months, a support system that drives your success, the tools to overcome obstacles and stay focused, and a personalized plan using our clarity framework. You want to take the first step towards clarity? Get registered, and I'll see you at the Clarity Lounge.